It's the Bachelor update.
Oh, okay, sure.
Sorry, I'm just more used to performing to my child, who appreciates my mouth trumpet more than you do.
Yeah, sure.
It's not how he laughs, but that's good. Good, nice to have another laugh to put in my quiver. Hey, last night on The Bachelor, Ando, a lot of stuff happened. I've got to fill you in on.
Look, to be honest, I don't mind.
You're in a tough spot, aren't you?
Your Bachelor updates. No interest in watching it.
You did watch the first step, though, so you know who I'm talking about now.
Yep.
You're part of the group.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe I'll know. Maybe I'll recall. But
Sandra, the crazy one.
Yes.
Oh, no, crazy. That's a bit rough. Very, very high energy. Too high energy.
Yes.
Unable to read any situation where it would require her to be low energy.
Yes, sure. But what I like about the updates is I feel like anyone who hasn't even seen the show will still get something out of this.
What I've decided to do is actually bring on a specialist for today's show. You might remember him from our Burgers, Beers, Boys and Bachelor Night. I'd like to welcome our Bachelor Professor, Dave. How are you, mate?
Boys, I'm good. How about yourselves?
Dave, lovely to
Really
hear
good.
from you again. I do remember you being extra vocal at the end of the Beers, Boys and Bachelor Party, and you knew your stuff.
I just wanted to get your take on where the girls are at this season. Who do you like and who's fading?
Sure. Well, I've put together my trifecta
Okay, great.
Great.
of who I think are going to be the top three come are going to get the inevitable overseas trip with Sam.
Yep.
So explain that. So at the end
of the season, you'll usually go away. I think from a psychological standpoint, because it breaks down your barriers even more, less inhibitions because you're in a foreign country. We saw them go to South Africa last season.
they take the final three overseas.
Usually about that number, yeah.
It's the equivalent of playing on a neutral ground, Andy. No one gets the home ground advantage that way.
Yeah, it's more the equivalent of going to schoolies because you go, oh, well, once in a lifetime I might do something crazy like accept a proposal.
Okay, great.
Exactly.
So tell us the three that you think will go overseas.
I've got Emily,
Yep, smart.
which is not exactly,
And she's the hottie.
We picked her at the start, Ando. Although, do you reckon, Dave, we're seeing a lot more cattiness from Emily now?
but I don't think she's showing Sam that.
Will he find out?
Oh, come on, guys.
Well, I mean, I think she's smart because if the other girls go to Sam, that makes them seem like they're double-crossing her.
Yep.
So I think she's pretty safe. I think she's pretty safe.
Dobbing on a bitch can sometimes make you look like a bitch, which is really unlucky.
Yeah, right.
So it's
Exactly
very, very hard on The Bachelor to dob effectively. You really have to play your own game if you want to be a winner. All right, so we've got Emily.
Exactly
Who
right.
else is in there, Dave?
I've got Emily. I've got Snez.
Got Snez, yeah. And look, the Snez is firming because she's sassy and fun.
She had a kid.
She does have a kid.
Yes, the
Sam, but
9-year-old.
Yeah, Sam loves kids. I reckon she's almost the front runner at the moment, don't you think, Dave?
Yeah, I do.
Because are you going to name Heather as your third?
I'm not. No, I think Heather could be the one on the way out tonight.
It would be a big decision.
Okay, explain who Heather
Heather's
is,
the
guys.
dude.
Come
Heather's
on.
always calling him dude, mate, like
Oh, so
too friendly.
Yeah.
Okay, she's
Except
friendly. Yeah.
he sent to her last night, he said, geez, it's going to be hard to let you go. And she said, you're going to have to get rid of me, mate, because I'm falling for you. And he goes, well, maybe I won't get rid of you. Kind of like hinting, maybe I'll take you to the end.
Well, this is the concern for me. Her title underneath where, they say wedding planner or whatnot, underneath her title is aspiring filmmaker.
Yep.
Is Heather there for the right reasons?
And that's the question. And that is the ultimate, Ando, in the Bachelor Mansion, from one girl to another, that is the ultimate insult you can level at someone.
Okay.
Because there's no real answer.
Yeah, no, there's no real answer.
It really.
Well, we didn't find out his final. I mean, even though a lot of these names aren't meaning much to me, but
Who's your final three?
Just so I can follow it up at the end. Who's the final third? The third one?
I have a roughie here. I think Sarah.
Oh, right.
What did I just mouth to you, Andy?
Hamish mouthed
What did
it.
I just mouth to you? Yes.
Really?
Yes, I did. I just mouthed it to Andy. I think you're right. She went on the first date.
What language you're both speaking, but I tell you what, Dave, I've really enjoyed watching you both go back and forth. Can we please have you back on in a couple of weeks?
Dave, can we get you back? We'll get you back next week, the week after. We check back in how our three are tracking, all right?
Absolutely. Just quickly,
Yep.
hot bet, Nina. Big mover this week.
It sounds like when you listen to the footy and they're giving you the odds for the game. Okay, well, as always, gamble responsibly. And thanks, Dave. Good on you, mate.
Thanks, Dave. Same shenanigans.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Haim, you'd be super excited about this. I'm pretty pumped as well because we've got the Bachelor Professor on the line. It's a fellow we met called Dave. He loves watching The Bachelor.
Well, we all
And
enjoy
so
it.
do you have. Well, not
Yeah, we all enjoy it,
everyone.
Anna. All of the boys
I
in
haven't-
here bloody love it. But Dave,
Jack and I haven't
Dave's like
seen it.
He's basically done a TAFE degree, so he's got a certificate 3 in The Bachelor. Right? As I'd say, I've got some good hands-on experience that I picked up on the job, but I don't have any formal qualifications.
Yeah, exactly. Again, apparently it was a big episode last night. Jack and I haven't seen...
Jackie, you not watched it?
Sorry, I didn't. I caught 2 minutes of it.
Apology not accepted.
But we do get excited about this, hearing you and Dave explain to us this the TV show, The Bachelor.
I've been dying to get Dave on today to discuss last night's ep. Dave, how are you feeling about it?
Ahoy, boys.
Ahoy.
Wow.
Wow.
We've got the Gold Coast Shade on up here tomorrow, but wow, all the fireworks were on Channel 10 last night. Right?
Yes, very good. Now,
Wow.
But now, for people who might not have caught it, Ham, The Bachelor is a guy called Sam, yes?
Oh, we know.
And how many girls are they down to now?
Well, he's down to 8 now, if you include the 2 intruders.
Did they add a couple more in, did they?
They chucked a couple in, not unlike Big Brother, and they both got through.
Which was a shocker in itself.
Well, if you go back to our first conversation we ever had, Dave, I mean, the last night saw Emily walk, and I mean walk. It wasn't that she didn't get a rose. She got down to 2 girls, her and Nina, and there was 1 rose left, and Emily just said, I'm not sitting around to wait for the bullet. I'm out of here.
Really?
And
Emily's the hot one, yeah?
they're all hot, Ando. Everyone's beautiful in their own way, but she was quite classically hot.
Yes.
Zoo/Ralph hot.
Spot on.
Okay,
Spot on,
great.
Fraser.
I'm just trying to place it for myself, the guys that aren't tapping in, all the time.
Yeah, right. And well, she walked.
Who are they?
And we haven't. Who are they, Dave? Because I mean, as far as I know, all the blokes I know are across it.
No one I want to be associated with, that's for sure.
How did you rate? Just what did you think we saw more of in Emily last night, Dave?
Probably her true self.
Yeah, I agree.
Probably for the first time in a few weeks. I mean, she had me fooled. I had her going top 3.
Yeah,
a couple
big
weeks
time.
ago, so
She cared a lot more about winning than perhaps winning his heart, and I just don't think that flew with Sam. While we're on the topic of Sam, Dave, what a good guy. I mean, are you with me? Are you just falling a bit in love with Sam? I mean, he's probably the best bachelor we've seen.
Oh, Tim Robart says hello.
Okay, and that's not a swipe at Tim or Blake. I just think Sam.
So
Sam
Tim was the first one?
Yeah, Sam stepped it up and just shown how you can play this game honestly and with your heart on your sleeve.
Well,
Dave,
hang on. So a girl left last night
That was him,
before the rose.
well, there's 1 rose to go and 2 girls waiting to get it.
Do you reckon, in your heart, guys, did you think she was going to get it?
No, I don't.
I actually thought that she was going to.
Did you,
okay.
Dave?
I go off the professor then.
I've just noticed in the past, though, whenever we have a storm off, that usually buys you a week.
And I reckon she was going for that because usually the bachelor goes outside, he doesn't want to feel like a bad guy.
Yeah.
But Sam just had a look and went, see you later.
Right.
Yeah.
No, don't forget your gift bag on the way out. Don't forget your Channel 10 hat.
It was effectively a staring contest, and Emily blinked.
She blinked. Now, Dave,
we got to go ahead.
I know we got to go. One more thing. Did you have a chuckle when the 2 intruders came in? I think it was Erbrew that said, who are these girls?
Is there a girl called Erbrew?
Yeah. Hey, bro. We always just laugh. We're like, hey, bro. It sort of sounds like, hey, bro.
Yeah.
But I think it was her. I think it was Erbrew that said, who are these girls? They have literally come into our house. It's not your house, Erbrew. It's Channel 10's house. Yeah. It's actually the opposite of literally. It's not your house at all. You're brand new as well.
Just a tip, Ebro. Half of Australia didn't know who you were either at that point. So
I didn't know until now.
Exactly. So
Erbrew's been in there the whole time.
Erbrew's been there the whole time. I mean, she's flying under the radar, but is she flying so low she's going to crash into a mountain?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks, Dave. We'll speak to you soon.
Good one, Dave. Thanks,
See
mate.
you, boys.
The Professor. Hamish Andy.
The Bachelor was on last night. Now,
Yes.
I caught up on it this morning.
Oh, well done.
Bloody interesting episode.
Yes.
Now, on this show, whilst I'm a fan of the Australian and US version, not just of The Bachelor, but Bachelorette and Bachelor in Paradise,
and I am not familiar with any of
you are
those
not,
things.
there is a man that we turn to for a more academic, a more learned view. He is the professional. He is the Professor. David, are you with us?
Boys, I'm here.
Mate, let's get straight into it because last night, as we were getting into, was a heck of an episode, right?
It was.
Rose ceremony, that was the biggest twist in the tail, wasn't it? Let's talk rose ceremony.
It was.
Ando, you probably, not aware
what happened?
of this. Well, there was 3 girls left on the steps. Batchy had handed out his roses. He had 2 roses left. And he just had a moment and he went, I gotta get outside. I gotta have a bit of fresh air. He walked.
He walked. And now, can I just ask both of you? I assume this show is edited.
No.
So, it was
If you could truly edit love, sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. It plays out so fast. I think they just stream it real time. I think this happened actually last night in the Bachelor
all
Mansion in
happened
Sydney.
months ago. If he needed a timeout, Just go and
No. This is an important look into the psyche of him. He had to go outside, and Gunsberg had to swoop in.
All right, okay. So
what I
what
don't think that you really appreciate is that it's this is his life. This is his future unfolding in front of him.
Mate, he's looking for a wife here. He went outside.
No, he's looking at for 3 media appearances and
this is the woman forever.
And 2 months of love forever.
He's going to run his childhood obesity school with this woman, and they'll fade away from the public eye. You mark my words. This is real.
4 glossy mag covers.
He's already done them. I mean, not with his permission,
and he wouldn't be getting money. But 4 of them, and then that's what this could mean.
And he goes outside. He stands there. You hear a rustling in the tree. You hear the unmistakable noise of a human being doing 2 backflips out of a tree, and Gunsberg's next to him. He leaps down from an oak, and he says to Sam, "How's it going?" And Sam goes, "Look, I'm conflicted. I don't think I've spent enough time with him." Goes inside, and what was 2 roses is suddenly 3. Gives them all a rose. They're in.
Oh,
no one goes home.
I mean, you as a lover,
no one executed.
Hang on, as a lover of the game, Professor, David, the Professor of the Bachelor. Yes. This to me just shirks the whole game. But how did you feel about it?
Well, no, I mean, it as I was saying before, it is his life that is unfolding. So, I mean, sometimes you just need to talk to your bro, Posher, and, and just see what's happening. And, hey, he was in the garden. You can stumble upon an extra rose.
No, you can't. That's the whole point of the game.
The third rose was a sunflower, but he said it had the same properties.
The whole point of this game, from what I can understand,
found an extra rose,
is that there's tension because he doesn't have enough roses.
He has a magical rose bush that depletes by 1 rose a week. Well, I guess he found another one, Ando. Here's the thing. Nina...
That's the shock, that there's roses just on standby.
Nina and Rachel...
He should have 1 less tonight. Is it on tonight?
Well, tell me if you think this is true, Dave. Dave, did you watch the American series where there was a date where Chris, the American bachelor, took a chopper out into the desert with 2 of them, went off on a date with 2 girls, and the expectation was 1 wasn't going to make it back?
Of course David didn't watch this.
No, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Yeah. He flew home without either of them.
What?
Yeah, he just went, you guys are fighting too much. He left him out in the desert. Amazing shot. Do you reckon that'll happen tonight, Dave?
I think there's a chance. I mean, it's sort of happened a little bit to this point already where he's gone out on a date and come back and she's just not there anymore.
Yeah, he's an unorthodox player. He'll cut you before the rose ceremony.
Okay, so
Dave, I reckon tonight we might see Nina and Rachel taken out, in some sort of aquatic-based date in Sydney Harbour. And he hops on a jet ski and burns off on the boat.
The thorns aren't the only sharp thing the bachelorettes need to be aware of.
Oh, David, one last thing before we know we're going to let you go, but who's the favourite now? I don't know any of the names, but who is the favourite?
I like Lana. I went with it last week, and I think she's just come home with a wet sail. It's just chemistry really promising.
The chemistry's phenomenal between her and Sam. I don't know what
isn't she?
I don't know. Yeah, she's. I prefer the term newbie Ando over intruder. I don't know what I don't know what the actual science project is where you make the paper mache volcano and you put something in and it blows out the top. But like the chemistry between them's explosive. It's undeniable.
So who comes second?
There's definitely been some bicarb soda thrown in there. That's for sure.
Yeah, big time. She's bicarb and he's basically a Mentos. She's a Diet Coke. It's incredible.
Exactly.
Second, I reckon Snez. Still, Dave?
I agree with Snez.
Is she cooling on him?
That's a distinct possibility, but I mean, I think that a few of them are starting to get a little bit worried about Lana, so they're going into self-preservation mode.
And I think this has gone on too long. So thank you very much, David. That's our Bachelor wrap-up.
Hey, the Prof, well done, mate. I would love to stay and chat with you all afternoon, but Andy gives it a fierce wrap-up. Segment is not brought to you by Channel 10, by the way. It's just it's a bunch of girls want to talk about
love.
Just love. It's brought to you by love. Same as Jesus, boss.
Thanks, David. Cheers, mate.
See you, mate.
Haim.
Bachelor, third last episode to 9, if our maths are correct. 4 girls to go.
So it was on last night?
On last night.
So it's Wednesday, Thursdays. And
for a man that claims not to watch, ye know quite a bit, sir.
Well, you just said it's on tonight, and then I asked you, was it on last night? And you said
we have a secret Heather fan. We have a Heather fan.
Call me Sherlock, but I just assumed that it's Wednesdays and Thursdays. After
I know you've got to keep up this facade that you pretend not to be into it. From night 1, you were bloody hooked. You've got a small shrine to Heather at the house. You wanted to win, but unfortunately, she's my pick to go tonight. We welcome the Bachelor Bachelor Professor Dave. How are you, mate?
Boys, I'm really good, thanks. What about yourself?
Yeah, really good.
Very good.
Do you back my call on Heather leaving tonight?
I do. Look, boys, as a Collingwood supporter, I know what late season fade-outs look like, and that's one if ever I've seen one.
Hey, now, I do think I know Heather because she featured in the first episode.
Yes, she did, mate. They almost all of them did.
This is true, but she was a favourite, wasn't she?
Early days, they had a good connection. The trouble was the word friend zone was getting thrown around a lot. We hadn't heard that term pop up for a good 5 weeks, Dave, until last night we saw it, didn't we?
Like Jedis, it returned last night. To the untrained eye, Andy, I can see why early on you would have thought she was a favourite. So, that's understandable.
Yep.
But, no, look, she's in all sorts. She's tracking late.
Yeah, right.
She'd be struggling.
So if there was a book running on this for a gambling book, people would be...
I'd say last night she would have blown out to about $10.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
At a 4-horse race, not to call them horses.
Drifted.
No. They can be jockeys if you want. I know now, don't make Sam the horse. Dave. Dave, I want to run a theory past you here, Dave.
So can you just give us, for those who haven't seen anything, what's the overview of what happened last night?
Oh, look, it was a pretty stock standard 5 to 4 episode.
Yeah.
He if you're familiar with the run of the season, he's ended up, it was pretty clear that you've got 4 solid contenders in Heather, Lana,
so no
Sarah,
surprises
and Sneznana. And then Nina was there. And look, Nina hadn't had a single date for weeks, was doing a hell of a lot of bringing down the other girls, Dave.
Right.
And look, she didn't stand a chance. I thought maybe if Sam had already made up his mind about who he was in love with, he could bring that girl and Nina to the final 2 and make it an easy kill.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
But
I reckon people would have smelt a rat.
Did he say... Sorry, Dave, you go.
I have a bit of a theory on that as well. I actually think that he was keeping Nina around to keep Sneznana happy.
Okay, yep.
Are they friends, are they?
They're pretty close. And now, I'm curious to see how Snez responds.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Did he say, Ham, at any point, Nina, don't need ya?
No, because it's not a good... No, it's not very good.
Okay.
He's the bachelor, not a jerk.
Yeah. It doesn't really rhyme. So he could have done, Nina, I'll be seeing you. He could have done that.
I won't be seeing you.
Yeah, but I'll be seeing you later.
Okay.
I won't be seeing you in the lady man.
At the reunion episode.
I take it there was no catchphrase used.
There was no catchphrase used. He didn't go, ka-clang, you're in the bin, or anything like that. Hey, Dave, I've got a bit of a theory here. I reckon Sam has probably been my favourite bachelor of all time I've seen in terms of how he plays the game and his honesty. He's also probably got the worst poker face I think we've seen in a bachelor for a long time. I think I've got a little theory where Sam's looking at a girl. If he makes up his mind that he's not there, he flatlines. Like he just goes a bit blank, and you can see him just staring with cold, dead eyes at a girl, and he's made up his decision. We saw it very clearly with Rachel, the food blogger from the Gold Coast. He just completely tuned out on her. I wonder, 2 questions. Did we see it last night on his date with Sarah? Like, I just think he was struggling to hold interest. I think he got up there and went, oh, great, another cheap bottle of wine and a cheese platter. I'm not interested. And
the Professor?
And second question, did we see him flatline when he was looking at the photo of Snez's daughter and it was sinking in that this is his future?
Ooh.
I think, in regards to Sarah, she wasn't giving up much, and I agree with you. I call them the shark eyes. You got the shark eyes going, and he just recoiled.
Just goes pure black, and there's just no compassion behind them.
Yep.
I do agree. I mean, I still think that Sarah's in the top 3. I still think that Heather's gone before Sarah.
Yep,
but
she could revive the pulse. Yep.
Yes. And then when he saw the kid, it wasn't so much the shark eyes, but he started to sweat.
Yeah. So it's dawning on him that he could have another, he's really signing on to 2 people.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
you can use the term signing on when selecting someone to fall in love with.
I don't think Channel 10 makes you sign a contract, but it's an emotional contract you're signing. I think, and he looked into the eyes of Snez's daughter, and what do you say? I mean, he did a pretty good job. He said, gee, she's got a lot of you in her. You're like, well, mate, we've never seen the dad, so how do you know?
One thing that really stood out as well is he only had 3 photos, but he spent a long time poring over those 3 photos. I was like, well, are you getting anything new from them this time you've looked at them, or what?
It was like when they bring in a psychic to solve a murder.
Dave,
trying to get a vibe off them.
Bringing a newspaper.
We've got to go. Thank you so much for your insights. I hate the show, but I do love your insights.
We got Heather out tonight.
Can we hear from Dave tomorrow, Ham?
We might have to get you on now that we're getting to the end of the season.
Exactly.
We might have to get you
home visits, like Christmas come early.
It's tonight, and then we got Fantasy Suite next week. I can't believe it, Dave. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Talk off air, guys. Thanks, Dave. Hamish Andy. Ham, you follow The Bachelor so intensely closely.
Oh, only in the sense that I watch it every single night and sometimes rewind bits if I wasn't 100% sure what they said.
And then gossip about it when you get in.
Too much to gossip about last night.
I take a different approach, which is not watching it.
You're playing a little harder to get. I'm very much, I suppose I'm very much the Nina.
Right, okay.
Really putting it out there.
But that's why Dave, the Bachelor Professor, a fellow we discovered when we discovered him, it's not like we hiked out into the woods and found him.
Got him.
But a fellow we met at our original Bachelor Blokes, Beers, Burgers party, Ham, he knows the Bachelor better than you do.
He came across to us as a real scholar of the game, and I looked at him and I went, all right, typical alpha move here would be to get him ejected from the party because we were in charge of that party. But wouldn't it be better to befriend him and get him on side and harness him for his knowledge? And I'm so glad we did. The professor joins us again. How are you, Dave?
Boys, I'm really good. Really good. What about yourselves?
Now, we're great. This is so exciting for me, Dave. This is twice in 1 week. This is sort of like, because Ando doesn't watch The Bachelor and I don't really get to have a buddy like you that I can just splurge goss on. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, Ando, you're letting me have a bit of an open relationship.
Well, a little bit.
And you're fine if you just sit there and watch, and if you're cool with it, right?
Well, yeah, no, I give 0 hoots about The Bachelor, and so...
It's good that you're so confident in our relationship that you'll just let me do this with Dave, and you know it doesn't affect us.
So this is kind of where I become the referee and jump in to try and get clarification. But guys, unleash what happened last night.
Okay, now I know we're going to go specific and we can go technical, but we have to. Dave, last night, a couple of things off the top. Was Heather the right choice?
Well, I mean, we both thought it yesterday.
We
so
did.
From a purely self-gratifying point of view, yes.
Yes.
So Heather left, Heather left
last night. Do you think Snez's family overwhelmed Sam?
I do. I absolutely
hang on. What happened last night?
Snejana, I mean, it was home visits last night. So down to 4 girls. He goes and meets their family, has a family dinner.
Right, okay,
so,
good.
I mean, I don't want to divert off the Snezana question, but I would say that Sarah's family was probably the most accurate fit.
Sarah's, yeah, definitely. And you know, the big thing, and this is where it's a little bit confusing from The Bachelor, he consistently talks about how easy it would be to be with Sarah. It'd just be so easy because she's just a couple of suburbs away. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you know, to be completely honest, Sarah's mother's lovely vegetable garden wouldn't have hurt his chances either because...
That's not a metaphor, Ando. I saw your eyebrows raise. They literally went to the veggie garden.
Okay, I was going to say, okay, sure, because that's a very intense approach from the mother-in-law.
No, I think what Dave's saying is, I mean, they're both Melbourne. The Sarah's Melbourne, Sam's Melbourne.
Right.
She's 24, I think, or 25, and has said to him, look, I'm interested in having a family, not just yet. On the other side of the fence, you've got Snez. She's got a 9-year-old. She's 34.
Right.
There's no right or wrong here, but for a guy like Sam, who's, you know, you can't be, I mean, I know it's The Bachelor, but if he wants to have a little bit of a safety net, it's a lot less of a crime to go out with a 24-year-old for 6 months rather than a 34-year-old.
It's a less of the contracts. If you're signing up for a little bit less, there's a more leniency in the contract there.
She has made it very, I think that firmed her as a little bit of a dark horse for us
What's
last
her name?
night, Sarah.
Sarah, hey, Dave, didn't you say... at the very start, when we met at the pub months ago, that Sarah was your dark horse?
I did. And, yeah, I had her as my third one, as a real dark horse.
You're the best in the biz. You're the absolute best in the business, because I think this is... Tell me if you see it playing out this way, Dave. He probably, I think, last night got overwhelmed with Snez. Has a lot of feelings for her. She's a great girl, but I think he's just gone, look, your family's very protective. You've got a daughter. It's a huge... responsibility, if I'm not 100% sure.
And just absolute credit to Snez's brother, who just took him to task. Oh, that was brutal.
Mate,
it was amazing.
It was
wonderful. Great television.
I mean, because at the home visits, there's always there's someone nominated from the family to go, right, you take the Bachelor outside and grill him. And it's great fun because it's like that person gets to have their own TV show.
Yeah.
They get to have their own 5-minute hard-hitting Dr. Phil type show. So her brother just gave him the full, mate, you ready? You may have a lot of fun, dating a lot of women, having fun on TV show. Yeah, good for you. But, you know, you ready to take care of a little girl? And then this Bachelor was really sweet. So Harsh's grilling.
He may have even asked him if he was ready to man up.
Yeah.
And that's just...
I reckon it's cost her.
I reckon it was the harshest grilling we've ever seen, and you're right, Ando. I think it was. I think it might have cost Snez the spot in the final 2.
Dave, before you go, final 2, who do you think it's going to be?
Sarah and Lana.
Yeah, all the way.
Well done, guys.
And if I had to give odds, I'd say Lana's at about $1.30 and Sarah's a roughie at $2, but anything could happen in the finale.
And if I had to care,
exactly
I'd
right.
be disappointed. But
And just really quickly, with Heather, she couldn't come back from introducing him to Wolf Creek early in that episode.
Really good.
That was-
Warwick, I mean, I know we've got to wrap this up, Dave, but yeah, I mean, everyone just looked at
Wolf Creek?
He was her father figure.
Yeah.
So she was like, this is my family. These are the people that raised me. And he absolutely he didn't crack a smile the whole time. He's out in the middle of Queensland on a horse ranch. He almost decked Sam several times. It was great TV. Thanks so much, Dave. We'll talk to you next week. Ando, we've had a distress call.
we have.
We've had a big distress call.
You can call this show anytime, 131060. It's the People's Show.
Michael.
Ahoy.
Ahoy, Mikey. You all right?
Oh, yes. I've been better.
Yeah.
I know. You're a school
I can take
teacher.
today, Andy, because I'm probably just talking to Hamish here, but...
Yeah, I know you are. But look, I feel your grief, and along this journey, and I feel everyone else in the journey of The Bachelor on television, Hamish is a guy that loves The Bachelor. And
I represent a pretty big and often non-talked about majority, don't I, Mike? Just guys that bloody love The Bachelor.
It's a minority,
it's
but it's bigger than I thought. Let's put it that
it's
way.
good to know you've got backup.
Yeah.
It's just good nice to know. There's only ever one of us
part of
per
something
group,
bigger.
so we have to reach out to other groups and bond with each other.
Blokes that love The Bachelor, and Michael has rung with a distress call. I'll let him talk it out with you, Ham, because I'm probably not going to be the sympathetic.
From what I understand here, Michael, you're a school teacher. Are you currently on school camp?
I'm currently on school camp, yep. Just finished doing some fire building activities.
What year level are we talking?
Grade 9s.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I take it, sounds like you're doing outdoorsy stuff, so you're obviously close enough to the city to get phone reception, but you're not in a place that has a TV?
Well, see, the issue is it's a survivor camp. I've got a cabin, and when I first got here at the start of the week, it's a full-week camp, I knew there was a TV, and I was like, oh, this could be good. But then today, somehow the satellite reception has given up, and it needs a software update or something, and there's zero chance of me accessing TV or anything for tonight. And as well as looking after the students, I probably should be, doing that at the same time. So
you can't do everything, though. You can't do everything. No one's expecting it's just you versus the elements trying to keep it all together there, Michael. You can't do everything.
Got to get priority.
Is there a way you could somehow get all the students to kind of wrap themselves in tinfoil and stand on the roof in an attempt to, sort of a let's come together and make the best we can out of this situation and attempt to be a big aerial?
I thought you were going to say, is there some way you can get the students to act it out for you so you can still watch it?
Mate, they'll be acting it out amongst themselves. Don't worry if it's co-ed. It's already happening. Well, Mike, you're cut off from society.
Yep.
You're in the worst possible scenario here because your phone works, but you can't watch the TV, so you're going to be getting text messages tonight from people watching The Bachelor.
Hey,
Yep.
I know what you want to do here because you ran it by me. But on 131060, call up if you're another bloke out there that is going to miss The Bachelor about tonight and is upset.
Yeah. Are you lamenting the fact that you're facing an almost impossible task of trying to not find out what happened tonight, and you're in the worst situation, Michael, because you're going to try and dodge the finale too, and that's madness.
It's a minefield.
Yeah.
Yep, no.
Look,
Thanks for your sympathetic ear.
If it wasn't going to upset the parents, I'd just say stay out in the wild and start your own community with the slaves you have out there. But look, there'd be all sorts of legal headaches for you in that, but it's almost worth not returning to society.
Thank you, Michael. 131060s, and I'm a ring up and lament with us. I'll even throw a bit of sympathy your way.
We'll call Michael back if we can get him, if he's still on camp, and we'll break it to him on Friday who the winner was.
Just before we get one of the toughest females in the world, Ham, to join us, Ronda Rousey coming in.
She'll be watching The Bachelor.
The best UFC fighter in the world.
Yeah.
We're going to hear from some blokes who are going to miss The Bachelor tonight, the reality show about getting rid of women.
So real. It's not about getting rid of women. It's about finding your one true love. And then, boom, next week,
through
we've got
getting
The Bachelorette.
through getting
through
rid
a
of.
fierce culling process, a floral culling. Floral-based culling. It's one of the key ingredients to the Bachelor
Brad,
format.
you're also lamenting. We've discovered over the last few weeks that there is, as a part of society, blokes that love The Bachelor. And you, my friend,
what do you got tonight?
Some sad news.
I've got the kids' basketball presentation night, so I'm going to be on the stage handing out medals and shaking hands. But hopefully I can have a sneak look in my pocket from time to time on the mobile and get an update and see who's been cut.
I mean, is there anyone not getting a medal tonight, Brad?
I know Heather missed out last week, but
No, sorry.
So he's that
not a
keen
rose.
to talk about the Bachelor.
No, I meant like the kids' basketball. I mean, if everyone's getting a medal, maybe it's just a situation of you get there at 7, put the box up on stage, say come up and get your medals, kids, in your own time, and I got to shoot home and watch the batch.
Yeah, try self-service medals. That's not a bad idea.
Is there anything? I mean, you can post them out.
If they know they've won them. We all know they've won them. Or give them roses, like your first suggestion. You can play next year, Warren.
Thank you, Brad.
I'm sorry, Damien. There's only one rose left.
Michael, you two are also upset, my friend.
Mate, yeah, we've got friends coming over for dinner tonight, and unfortunately, one of those friends is about 120 kilos, 6'2", Kiwi fella. So I'm just not sure whether he's up to watching The Bachelor and watching roses get handed out.
Michael, I mean, there's no prerequisite body, shape, size, there's ethnicity, race, sex. Doesn't matter. The Bachelor's a show for everyone except for those that aren't invested.
Yeah,
that's going to be the determining factor. If we
hate generalisations of the show, have
it's one of our pet hates. But Michael, I suppose if you could test the water with him, you could be like, mate, which of these 3 meats do you want tonight for dinner? Do you want Snej? Do you want Lana? Or do you want Sarah? And if his eyes glint at that, then give him the secret handshake, which is where you have a rose in your hand and you give it to him, and you guys can run off to the rumpus room and watch The Bachelor.
I'll test the waters. If I get a black eye, it's on you guys and I'm coming back.
Yeah, exactly. I hope you don't get a black eye. Matthew, you have a dilemma.
Big dilemma, boys. My girlfriend's actually the one missing it tonight, but she's asked me to record it and not watch it so we can watch it together tomorrow night. Which means I've got 24 hours of suspense.
No, you got 20. You got a 24-hour window of people that will ruin it for you.
Yeah,
exactly.
You got a lot of ducking and weaving ahead of you, Matt.
How much do you like your girlfriend?
Well, a lot.
Yeah.
She'd get a rose.
She would definitely be. She'd get one of the good roses, the white ones or something.
Sure. Don't try and pretend you know what you're talking about, Andy. Get out of here, Gunsberg. Matt, it's a huge task in front of you, but do you remember a couple of years, Ando, I managed to survive 24 hours without knowing the outcome of the Football World Cup?
Yes, but you were fierce the day before.
It can be done, Matt. That's all I'm saying.
And you wore headphones in and didn't speak to a single person and just listen to music all day. Matthew probably has.
How bad do you want it, Matt? How bad do you want it?
But Matt probably has a job where he has to communicate with people and needs that.
That's true. I am allowed to behave exactly how I want in here. The other thing is, if he was trying to do this for the actual final, right? No chance. That's bigger than the World Cup.
Yeah, it's true. To finish up today, Ham, and ahead of tonight's finale tonight, yes?
It's the finale, Ando. We got Lana versus Snezana on The Bachelor. What a season. Twists, turns, ups, downs, intruders, extruders. Well, the girls that got voted out.
To fill everybody in, you have a weird love for The Bachelor. We discovered there's a lot of other blokes that does it. That's why I've been following this. To say I've been following The Bachelor is incorrect.
No, you can't help it though, Ando, because I'm following it so hard, you're getting hit by the spray.
I'm following you, follow it, and Dave.
You're in my slipstream.
The Professor.
Dave, how you going?
Really, really well, thank you, boys. What about yourselves?
Yeah, pumped. Are you excited? Because I'm bloody excited.
I'm so excited. I've cleared all the plans. I've told everyone at work the phone's going to be switched off. Just leave me alone.
Okay, Dave, I've never asked you. Do you have a partner? Do you watch it with a girlfriend, or is it just you by yourself?
No, watch it with my wife.
Yeah, I figured. I mean, so do I. I think that's the other part of all the guys that watch it. I mean, we're all just doing it as a joint activity with our partners.
My phone does actually explode, though, and it is mostly boys.
Yeah, me too.
Men who contact me about it.
Yeah, guys, don't try and make your thing more normal.
That's cool, isn't it? It's really cool.
Okay, so where were we at?
Sarah. Okay, so Sarah went last night. Dave.
Oh, Dave, this is the one thing I remember. Dave, you called Sarah at the very first night when we were having a few beers and a pie.
Yes, I had her finishing top 3. I
did, didn't you?
She was going to get top 2. So that surprised me. To be completely honest, I think it sort of probably would have surprised Lana as well, because it's all about who you want to face in a final.
Yeah.
I didn't think Snez would get there, but I think that she could really come into her own in this sort of a cutthroat situation.
Okay, can you just explain to us
I'm trying to. I mean,
who the last two are left?
You got Lana, who's one of the intruders, big eyes, young. Consensus is she's quite hot and bubbly.
Can play golf.
Can play golf.
Okay.
Not
very important.
No, you say that, Dave, but I know if Andy saw the vision of her at the driving range, you wouldn't be wrapped with her swing.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Snej, 34, 9-year-old daughter.
Yes, I remember her.
You know her.
Yep.
An absolutely gorgeous girl as well. Here's my, and I say this with deep respect to both players, Dave, that have made it to the final two. Snej is a woman, and Lana's a girl, and I think I'm about to drop something huge on this show. He's going to go Snej.
Look, I don't think that you're necessarily wrong. I had Lana all along, but I thought Lana was going to be facing Sarah in the final two.
And if it was Lana, Sarah, it would be Lana all day long. My question to you is, why would he take a 34-year-old mother of one who is away from her daughter? Why would he take her all the way to the end, only to put a bullet in her head?
They go overseas or something, do they?
No, this is Australian-based.
Yeah, I think the overseas trip was mixed because the Bachelorette is also starting, so therefore, budget cuts, but that's fine.
Yeah, they got 2 mansions to rent at the moment, but no more budget airfares.
So they cut the overseas bit.
So it's all happening in Australia. And do you agree with me, Dave, that he cannot be the man that dogged a single mum on the finale?
You're exactly right, and he will look pretty bad if he does, as you put it at home, put a bullet in her tonight. But
Andy, that's just a euphemism. They haven't changed the format. It's still roses.
still on at 7:30 or so. The other side to that is, will anyone really blame him if he says, you know what, I just don't think that I'm prepared to take on 2 of you as a daughter. So he's got an out.
He's got an out, and he always does, and he can always say, look, I just needed this long to make up my mind, and we all know that, but, I mean, there will be a fair portion of Australia going, well, you didn't have to take that long.
Can I ask, I haven't watched this guy chat much, the Bachelor, Sam. Is he a good enough politician to let her down?
Yep, but he's played very honestly. He's played really honestly. I've loved his gameplay. Have you liked his gameplay, Dave?
I have, and I've really liked it in the final 4. He's walked them all out as well. That's
Dave,
class move.
A little bit of a gift for you and a thank you to you from being the professor. We have the winner and Sam on tomorrow's show live.
Yeah, right.
We'd love to get you up and to ask a couple of questions. So have a couple of questions thought of overnight.
Feels only fair.
The reason why I say this is because I've got 0 questions.
Yeah,
Dave.
You're going to sub in. You're just going to be Andy. Andy's going to go for a walk, and he can go and stand on the rooftop balcony and just look out and think about the fact Justin Bieber will be up there soon. And you and I, Dave, can take care of the interview tomorrow. I know we always never cover enough, but I'll just leave you with this. Yes. Dave, do you agree? We've talked about Sam's shark eyes before. I call it, he goes ice cold. You can just see in his eyes when he's decided someone's not staying around. Yeah. Did that happen with Sarah when they were having the cup of tea?
When she started focusing more on the brands of the teacups and how nice the little pictures on there were, he absolutely went full-blown shark eyes.
She looked at the bottom of the teacup to see who made them and went, oh, this is nice, and she might as well have had a death warrant written on the bottom of that teacup.
Absolutely.
That was the end.
I felt as though his eyes pierced through my chest and I was sitting on the other side of the television.
Yeah, all the lights in our house blew out.
Well, Dave, think of those questions for me for tomorrow. Mate, thank you very much for joining us again. Yes, as I said,
I'm calling it Ando Snej.
Sam and another person on tomorrow's show.
And you know why I think? I just think, I actually do think it is going to be Snej because... Did you see any of the footage? They're on Dan and Maz. Snejana and Lana were on Dan and Maz this morning. Both of them they can't give anything away. Yeah. So the 2 finalists. Snej did look like the cat that had got the cream, and Lana looked like the girl that had been told, hey, behave and play this well. You're in a shop. You might be a shop to be the Bachelorette. That's the only thing they can hold over her, and I think that's the promise they've made to Lana. I don't know if they're going to come through with it, but I think that's the promise they've made.
You'll find out tonight. I'll find out when you tell me tomorrow, but we'll see you.
You'll be able to hear it tonight, Anna. There'll be people in the streets chanting, rioting.
I'm off to a footy best and fairest.
Oh, they'll all be telling you. I guarantee you one of the players for the best and fairest will be checking his phone going... Who's won the Bachelor?
We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. HamishAndy.com for anything you may have missed.
There'll also be footy players in the room going, who's lost? What's their number? Have a good night.
They're here, Ham. I know you're very,
Congrats,
very
guys.
excited.
Love is in the air. Sam and Snej, our Bachelor winners.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's obviously got to be a strange time. And you just mentioned when you came in here, Sam, that, Snez, you and Lana had been doing press together, trying to keep straight faces. And I guess everyone's just been sitting there trying to read you for the last week and get
Oh, they
some
were.
tells.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody
For the
was
last
trying
week, for the last 4 months.
Did you have? Did you
They
have
just throw a name at me, and if I twitch or blink or twitch, but they're like, "Oh, it's got to be her."
Did you have anyone following you? Like, did people find where you were? Because I
No,
can't.
I was pretty good. Like, being in Perth, nobody really cared.
Yeah.
Like,
Not true.
Yeah.
Not true. I mean,
Hamish cared.
I dispatched
Did you
my
not see him in the bushes?
You sure you didn't have anyone following you? Because I did follow you to Pilates the other day. But you were very good. I couldn't see who you were texting.
Now, guys, you've really got two sides of the equation here. Hamish did not miss a second of it, followed it, read every single article. I didn't quite get around to catching it all.
Bit busy?
Oh, yeah. Just a lot of charity work I do, etc., that just got in the way.
It was on during the Ashes. It was a bit of a dilemma for those first few weeks.
Yeah.
But a fellow called Dave, who we had a Beers, Blokes, Burgers bachelor party when it first came out. And we discovered that, look, they're a minority, but there's plenty of real blokey blokes out there that love The Bachelor. We
Mate,
brought
the
them all
amount of
together.
photos I get asked for, and it's the whole, it's for my girlfriend, she'd kill me if I didn't ask.
Yeah.
And there's
My
like, can we
girlfriend's
take
name-
17 different photos with the lighting right, and, can I change my outfit? And I'm like,
Well, we met
"Just for
this
your girlfriend?"
We met this fellow called Dave, who is a professor. He's very analytical. He
If you could
approaches
do-
the game so well.
If you could do a TAFE course in The Bachelor, he'd be teaching
A
the TAFE.
bachelor in bachelor?
He'd be teaching the certificate 4 in Bachelor.
So rather than myself asking questions, it's Dave's chance. He'll ask far better questions. Welcome, Dave.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, very good. Obviously, we've got Sam and Snez here as well.
Hello, Dave. I'm a bit
Hello.
worried, mate.
No, don't be worried. But as what you were saying before, I definitely have my wife taking the pictures, mate. There's no secrets here.
Well, Sam was just saying off air, Dave, he's heard you. He's
I
listened.
did. I heard last week when you were saying that it just has to be Lana because it's too big a risk, and or Sarah, because if I break up with them after 6 months, no one will hate me. But if I break up with Snez after 6 months, it's a no-win situation.
And
It's
look,
just too high a risk.
And what came true, we said if Snez goes to the final 2, it does have to be Snez because why? How could you do that? I mean, you're already taking her away from Eve. Like it's
So, Sam,
it's big.
from an outsider, these guys are speculating every single week.
Yep.
Are they kind of right at times? I mean, are these
I
things
think
that
they
are
had their
weighing-
moments.
Thank you.
Yeah, my ice cream eating technique.
But is it strange hearing these things and going, yeah, that does take me back. Did you know if you were taking Snez through, or when did you know that you're like, this is the one?
Well, obviously listening to you guys because it's 4 months after it's filmed.
Yeah.
I was like, they're kind of onto it.
Oh,
I mean,
they're
I
getting
wouldn't have taken Snez to the final 2 if I
If it
wasn't
wasn't.
sure it was going to be her.
Yeah.
Now, watching the show for you, Snez,
yeah.
is it? You can imagine what the show's like when you're in there. Was there any surprises when you watched the show, or was it sort of what you thought it would be like?
It was what I thought it was going to be like. Having said that, I haven't watched all the parts.
Haven't watched all of it. Did you watch last night?
Part of it.
Part of it.
Sam was.
I ordered room
Yeah.
service when
Very strategic.
strategically
Was it
arrived
to
when
cover
my
a
date
kiss?
with Lana was taking place. The
And the
doorbell
pool
rang. I
scene
turned the
the night
TV off. We sat down. We ate dinner, and then when the TV came back on, I miraculously appeared in the red car, picking up Snedge for our amazing date.
Yeah, just can you call in a bomb scare at these times?
Dave, what grabbed you, our professor, our Bachelor Professor, what grabbed you after last night's episode? And any questions you wanted to ask?
Well, I mean, I've got a few questions. I had to revise them a little bit because I think most people have probably asked you them throughout the day already, and
That's
I've seen
all right.
the answers. So
Yeah, good.
I
I
already
would
seen
say
him.
first interview for the day, mate, but
Yeah.
that would be a massive fib.
And Dave's probably read everything anyway, so he probably knows. But fire away, Dave.
Okay, well, first and foremost, Sam, it's directly for you.
Okay.
What is what's more intimidating for you? Is it walking into a crowded bachelorette party, particularly early in the season when there's still a lot of girls there, or having to stand next to Osha's hair on national TV?
Ooh.
Tough one
Because
first.
sometimes it looked like your parts were fighting each other. Sometimes it looked like your hair was in love with each other. Sometimes it was
we had our ups and downs.
Is it strange though with Osher? I mean, I understand, and Haim tells me he can kind of be a confidant at times. That's what it seems like when people watch the show. Does he come in and spike those, or do you go, I want an Osher break?
No, I mean, you sort of have no one. You can't talk to production about production.
Right. Yeah.
That being said,
Yeah.
Osher's also the consummate professional who doesn't really give you more than he can because that's sort of a breach of what he's there for.
Yeah.
he's been brilliant since the filming. We've become great mates. But
on him.
yeah, during the filming, I mean, you're sort of on your own. You've got to navigate your way through.
I want to bring something up, Dave, that we've talked about before on the show, shark eyes. Sam.
Shark eyes,
Now, this
yeah.
is the
I apologise, Sam.
This is the theory where sometimes on dates, and particularly with Rachel, the girl from the Gold Coast, the food blogger, your eyes go dead. When you're talking, because I know you have to talk to them, Sam, I think you know, because it relies, and you're not the same level of in love with everyone. But for the purposes of the show, you have to at least make us as viewers feel like you are. And with Rachel in particular, you just flatlined. Cold, dead, shark eyes.
Yeah, I don't know if Rachel and I ever really hit it off.
Do you look back on you on TV and go, geez, it's so obvious I'm not into her?
Yeah, I think if I had a couple of glasses of red and the conversation wasn't terribly stimulating, to put it mildly, I would fake out. The cameraman would kind of catch me and be like,
hey, you're snoring.
Guys, we stick around. Sam, what you don't know is Haim does a fairly good Sam Wood impersonation.
I've studied you. Snez, and now I see you in the flesh.
Snez, you're going to get to see it. We want to see how it ranks. But
we want to put you through. I've already recorded my answers for these questions. We want to put you through the same situation you have to face on the show. So there's bits to camera that you do.
Right.
So talking heads, go back
Right.
into that, and then we'll see how your answers compare to Hamish's impersonations. Hamish and Andy. Pants Off Friday. Hamish and I are just sitting here naturally in our undies like we do every Friday. But
Sorry, Snez. My eyes are up here. I mean, God, now I feel like the bloody Bachelor, Sam. I feel like I'm on one of the spa dates. Come on, keep it professional.
Snez and Sam, our Bachelor and his missus now, join us in the studio. We've got a little bit of look, I suppose it's an experiment, isn't it, Ham, what we're about to do here?
I suppose I'm testing how well I studied you, Sam, in all the weeks I watched you as The Bachelor. I like to think that of all the experts out there, I'd be at the head of the field. I'd be, at least if there was like a symposium, I'd be invited to speak on who Sam Wood is as a bachelor, a leading scientist. So what Andy's going to do is he's going to ask you one of the questions that you would normally do in those bits to camera, where you're talking about the experience and the dilemmas you're facing and where your mind's at and where your heart's at. Just do the normal sort of stuff you do on the show, and then I'll play you the video that I've already recorded of my answer to the same question. Okay? So give it the full Sam, because I went maximum Sam.
Don't hold back.
To paint
And
the picture,
Snez, you can tell me if I'm close to the man you love.
to paint the picture, everyone, Sam is now over in a different chair. He's got the camera on him. It's like a regular talking head that you would have seen on The Bachelor.
Here we go.
And someone from behind the cameras asked this question: when did you know it was Snez?
Look, it's really hard because you just have to do... You know that the dates and the show's going to film for the amount of time that it does. And I knew Snez was very, very special from our first date together. But you have to be respectful to all of the girls and see that right through. And therefore, I just wanted to give myself as much time to make sure when I made that final decision, it was really a final decision, and she'll be the girl I spend the rest of my life with.
Ooh, lovely answer.
Good answer. Snez, you ready to see me
I'm ready.
being your boyfriend? Here we go.
Look, from the moment Snez got out of the limo, I had an instant connection with her. But at the same time, I had 20 other incredible women that I had to form a relationship with to know where my heart was going. But towards the end, I did begin to realise that what I felt for Snez was something different than all of those incredible other relationships I had built.
What do you think, Snez?
I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Can we go to question 2? Sam doesn't want to. Sam's falling over.
I think we've proven his point.
Please, just for my sake. Or can we just go to question 3?
Let's go to question 3.
Let's go to question 3.
Okay,
Here we go.
so Sam, back into talking head mode. Here I am with you. How does real life compare now to the life you had on the show?
Good question. Look, it's just great. You just crave normal. When you're in the Bachelor bubble, as it's sort of referred to, it's crazy. You're dating 21 girls at once, which is obviously not real life, and you're trying to find one girl that is normal. And now that I'm out, I sort of feel free, or we feel free, and we can't wait for a great future together.
Okay, that's one way to do it. How about this? Okay, Snez, this is the real Sam.
The life we've got now is nothing like the life we had on the show. It was a truly crazy experience going through The Bachelor, but I also wouldn't change a thing. That whole wild ride, every twist and turn, and whoever I was with, brought me to where I am now with Snez. And we've got a much more normal life now, and I have to say, I prefer it that way.
Not bad, Sammy. Pretty close. Pretty close. Well, look, it's something I've been working on. Thank you for indulging me. Hey, can I ask one last question? We were talking before about, like, I'd heard the rumour that you guys had to go overseas to, like, you know, hook up because of all the secrecy. Just one each, pick one each. There's been some weird stuff written while everyone's speculating. What stands out for each of you as the weirdest rumour you heard about either yourselves or about sound like during the filming? Was there
if there anything comes to mind for you, Snez?
Oh, during filming.
Or like, you know, in the speculation zone where people are like, oh, they're going overseas and like, oh, you know, Sam's actually married and all the bizarre things that came out in the women's mags.
Oh, yeah, married and pregnant, like in Byron Bay. They thought
we've already had a wedding.
Yeah,
I went to Byron Bay with my dad and sister, and it was.
And
a
apparently
secret
we were
wedding.
already married.
Really?
Yeah, secret wedding.
He married his dad, guys. You got the scoop.
I am Tasmanian.
Well, okay, just on that before we let you go, the ring that you gave last night was just a beautiful gesture. I assume that's not an engagement ring.
Correct.
Smart. Yeah. Because A, you get the ring from Zamels. I assume that's to keep. Yep. B, you've now got the engagement, which you can sell. I mean, it's not a bad business move. Very shrewd. Very well done, Sam. Hey, you had to take time out from your business. Boys got to eat. All right.
If you need any more tips, he'll be available. Guys, thank you so much for coming in. You can see him on the project tonight, everyone.
And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, very happy for you guys.
Thank you.
Perfect love story.
Thank you.
Heads off Friday. Hamish Andy. Hey, peeking behind the curtain a little bit here, our producer Sam joins us in the studio. Sam, how are you?
G'day, guys. Good afternoon.
Now, Sammy, you're in charge of the show. You move all the bits and pieces, you know. You're ushering in bachelors, you know, you're just running in cameras, running it out. You know, you got a lot of balls in the air today. It's been a busy day for you.
Has been.
And we wanted to do something nice. It's a little bit of a different way to finish off the show for a Friday, but it's an idea that popped up in Ando's head. I mean, I think it's a brilliant idea. I wish I had it. So I'm not trying to throw any under the bus.
Okay.
But I back it 100%. And then my sort of contribution was, do you think we should get, rather than asking Sam or telling him before the show?
I would have preferred that.
No, it's way better for you to be in here and to hear it, because it's actually, I think, an idea that you will love so much. It would be a bit of a shame if Australia couldn't hear your reaction live.
I'm suspicious.
So it's we need the help of the people. It's a people's show. And I think circumstances plays a huge part of this, Ham.
Yeah, not everyone can enter, and they'll see why in a moment.
Bravery, courage.
Bravery's big.
You would suspect.
The desire to be groundbreaking.
I think would also be it.
I have no idea where you're going here at all.
And so I'd like to ask on 13-10-60, are you currently holding in a fart?
By the way, Sam loves farts. I should have pointed that out.
Why?
Because I think, I'm not sure if I've heard it done before this phone topic.
Yep.
I know it's the last day of school.
This is last day of school madness. We're about to go on holiday. I've never seen him react so positively to a segment.
So if you are, I know this is circumstance, but if you are and you feel you can hold it over the song,
we would like to give you the ability to broadcast your flatulence.
Yep.
13-10-60. Sammy, you get out there and get on the
I'm
call.
getting these calls, guys. Thank you.
You hear sound effect farts played all the time. Sam could never been happier. You hear sound effects played all the time. But have you ever heard a live one? We're not sure if we've ever heard it.
13-10-60. Hopefully, happenstance has it that you've got something in your pants ready to go right now.
Get ready to release. Hold and release.
Don't force it.
Don't force it. I mean, we have to hit someone right in the right period of the window of holding.
How long's the song, Jack? Just so anyone calling up knows.
That's a good call.
Taylor Swift, 3 minutes, 11 seconds.
Okay, don't dance to it. Just stay very...
We've got to go now because we've got people calling, and if we're mucking around here, they might explode before the end of Tay Tay. Let's go.
Tay Shandy.